So one of the things I'm very, very adamant about, like prior to Jordan passing, I had no idea what an athletic trainer was. I didn't know who the athletic trainer was. I didn't know the value of an athletic trainer. I didn't know the significance of an athletic trainer. I just kind of assumed because, and this is the main thing, by no means am I making any attempt to say any of us are wrong for not knowing. Sometimes we just don't know what we just don't know. You don't know what you haven't been educated on. As of today, all of these things that you'll get from us, I guarantee you there shouldn't be no excuse not to do these things or not to know about these things because you're getting firsthand knowledge of it. And the main thing is this, even if you go back to your programs, take the information, get the information to coach, information to team mom, and if they can't get it, please just have them refer to the Jordan McNair Foundation. We'll give it to them. That's our job, is to educate people. That's our mission, to promote awareness, education, and prevention around these types of injuries. So the value of an athletic trainer, the significance of an athletic trainer, I'll let another athletic trainer come in and tell you. So Jennifer Rheeling, everybody.
First of all, I need to give you a hug because you knew what we are and what we do. Most do not. So most think that when you hear athletic trainer that we're the strength and conditioning coach, or hey, can you give me a massage, or hey, can you help me lose weight? And so that you knew, I very much appreciate that. Athletic trainers are specifically trained healthcare professionals in an active environment. So our job is unique from many that you would think of because we never know what's coming through the door. If I'm a physical therapist, I have appointments and I know what's coming and that sort of stuff. I never know what's going to happen at any given moment. So who knows your child better than you do? Nobody. Who is your child's best advocate? You, all right? I work at a high school. I've worked for DC Public Schools for 32 years. Hopefully 33 will be the end of that. But 32 years. I take a lot of pride in the services that we provide to those students in that environment. Very unique in this area. Baltimore City doesn't have it. Baltimore County doesn't have it. PG County, where I live, does not have it. Montgomery County, which is considered to be affluent, does not have it. What the athletic trainer is, if you take your car in for service, and there's a service advisor and they say that your transmission's out in your car, do you want the service advisor taking care of that, or do you want the actual professional expert taking care of that? So that's what we are. Not to slight anybody, the coach is worried about where are my kids, where are my uniforms, where are the balls, what are we doing today in practice, all that sort of stuff. I stand there ready to do nothing but take care of your child. All right, I am the one who knows that when I stand in the middle of a field and I look around, I know what my obstacles are. I know what I have to work with. If I'm working a per diem event, which means something I just got paid for that day, and I forget my AED, then I'm going to tell who I'm working with that because I need them to know today I don't have my AED and we need to go to plan B. I also should not be hired again, but anyway. But those are the things that I need to. So when I practice with my coaches, I'm going to bounce around because Wes and Marty made such good points. The NFL, 27 medical professionals on field level during a game. 27. Now some of them are dentists or whatever else, but nonetheless 27 medical professionals, some of whom are highly specialized. So my coach calls me on Wednesday after that happens. He's like, I guess we're going to have to make some changes. And I'm like, make some changes? And he's like, yeah. And I said, like what? Well, I guess we're going to have to sit down and we're going to have to make that thing. I'm like, make what thing? The emergency action plan. I'm like, the one that's hanging on the coolers, the one that's posted in the locker room, that I could never, ever get him to practice and get his coaches to practice. I'm the chair of the Secondary School Athletic Trainers Committee for the National Athletic Trainers Association and could not get my own coaches to show up to an EAP practice. So last Monday, they all showed up and we all practiced the EAP. So DeMar Hamlin, praise God, he came out of that fine. That was the best piece of advocacy. Wes was not lying. That went perfectly. That was a textbook response to an emergency. He had the best possible chance at having a good outcome. So I said to my coach, imagine that, what you saw, and now it's Friday night at our football games. Who's there? He's like, well, you are. Yeah, I'm there. Maybe another athletic trainer, depending on who we're playing. And we have residents from Howard University that come to our games. They're young, they're not very experienced, they may not be in ortho, they may not be in emergency medicine, they don't know the area, they don't come with a stethoscope, they just are standing there, they're a physician. All right. So how are the three of us going to respond in the way that Damar Hamlin was responded to? All right. And then imagine it's a Wednesday and we're understaffed in DC public schools. So I had to go cover middle school volleyball or a cross country meet out in PG County. Now what are you going to do? And he's like, oh shit. And I said, yes. And I'm glad you finally realized that you have to be ready, because his answer all the time was, well, you're here. I'm not always here. And I'm not always here. They're playing 7-on-7 somewhere today. I asked him, do you know when you go to these 7-on-7 tournaments, do you even know if they have anybody there, where they are, what do they have? Some things are easy. If you need to cool it, well, sort of easy. If you need to cool a kid emergently, all right, he's got a tub down there. All right, that's a little pricey, but it's doable. But there's a tub there. Cold water immersion is the best way to chill somebody. Use a tarp. Use a tarp. Just keep their head out of it. Use a tarp. Pour the ice water there. There are creative ways to do the emergency things that are going to save a life. The point of an athletic trainer is to think of all that ahead of time, to do all the planning, to make sure the equipment is there, to be the advocate. I have kids all the time. They'll have a concussion, and you know, concussion you can't really see. And most concussions aren't so bad that they're stumbling or they're gibberish or whatever. So the kid tells me that they're not feeling right still. But the coach wants them out there and the parent wants them out there. So I can stand there and say, nope, not today. Is your child going to stand there to their coach and say, nope, not today? Not very often. They're intimidated. That's an authority figure. You know, that's somebody who they want to please and is responsible for their playing time. They might not be telling you at home. We make sure that they're doing what they need to do in the classroom before they come. If your concussion is keeping you from doing classroom work, you shouldn't be on the athletic field. That's priority. So you should never ever be afraid to advocate for your child. You know your child. I've had parents come to me and say, you know, they're snotty all the time at home now and they're not usually like that, or gosh, he sleeps all the time, and that's concussion. Concussions are different. If I get a concussion and Wes gets a concussion, it's two different sets of symptoms. There's so much to know that no one coach can know all that. No one parent can know all that on top of everything else they're doing. That's why we know all that. That's what we do. We have a master's degree. We have a certification, a national certification exam. We have to get 50 continuing education units every 2 years. And in every state but California, athletic trainers are licensed. So just like your doctor's licensed, just like your dentist is licensed, we are licensed healthcare providers that are held to a certain standard, and we have to uphold that standard of care. I guarantee you no athletic trainer went into athletic training because they hate kids. Guarantee it. If you don't like kids, this is not the job for you, 100%. There are different levels of athletic trainers. There's high school, there's collegiate, there's professional. We all have the same training and background. Our experiences aren't the same, but we all have the same training and education and background. An athletic trainer is an athletic trainer is an athletic trainer. When you see that, that's an athletic trainer. All right, that is our symbol, and that's what we use to identify ourselves. Athletic training is a misnomer. It doesn't really represent what we do. But collectively as athletic trainers in the country, we can't agree on what we do want to be called, so we just stick with athletic trainer. So in some countries they're sports physios or they're sports therapists or whatever else. But the athletic trainer is the person who thinks of all those things, knows all those things, brings all those things, and advocates for your child when your child cannot, or when your child is intimidated. We're the safe space for your child. I find out in DC public schools, pregnancy scares, STDs, suicidal ideations, everything. I'm a safe space. I don't mark them absent. I don't give them an F. I don't sit them on the bench unless they're hurt. And even when they're mad, they know in their head that that was the best thing for them. But I'm the person that's standing there on the sideline and can talk to them and have a minute to sit and just listen to them. I'm the one that knows they're squirrely after school, and I got to let them burn off that energy and not yell at them, you know, like a coach is trying to discipline them and get them there. I give them a few minutes in my room to be squirrely kids and get that out. But I'm the one who, at any given moment, if a kid drops right now, I guarantee you Wes and I are ghosts. We're gone. At any given moment, people say to me all the time, ooh, I wish I had your job. You get to stand here and watch games. Ooh, I wish I had your job. Yeah, you get to stand out here. This very second, that's what you see me doing. But the very next second, I better do what Damar Hamlin's athletic trainer did. I better. That's what you expect of me. And I want that child to go home. What I say to my kids all the time, I hope that they have 70 years of life in front of them, and I don't want anything to interfere with that here where I am. And so you want somebody with that kind of passion to take care of your children. I work DC Parks and Rec youth football. It is hideous and horrendous. The coaches are terrible to those kids. The parents think those coaches are going to make their kids into young men and that they're going to build character and all that, and it's really abuse. I work it because I need to be there for those kids. Those kids will be my kids eventually at the high school I work at. Somebody needs to stand there and tell that coach, you are not picking that child up off the ground. That child's gonna stay right there. That child's not gonna move until I say he moves. And that's what you want for your children, all right? Yes?
When you get a minute.
Oh no, you're fine. I'll keep going if you don't stop me. Go ahead.
So at my son's high school, the trainer last year was if you live in Frederick County, and I think there was one, maybe two in the county or something, she told us. So she wasn't always able to be there. So as parents, like, what should we do
School board.
now? Okay.
School board and administration, school board and administration, school board and administration. I live in PG County. I tweet out to them every time something happens, you're getting my tax money, and you have they have like 6 athletic trainers. Baltimore City has a program to get athletic trainers. They can't get all the funding. Montgomery County hired a centralized supervisor of athletic trainers. Can't get the money for the athletic trainers. But they keep finding money for a turf field or a this or that. Emergency things, okay? Emergency things. Having tape on the sideline, a first aid kit, those are easy. AED, why are you not prioritizing that? An AED has to be applied to a patient within 3 minutes of collapse. 3 minutes. Every minute after that it's not, the chance of survival goes significantly down. A way to cool. That's an emergency situation. If you don't cool them, their organs are cooking. Their organs are cooking, and you can't fix that all the time. And so that they have to be brought back down. In the high schools, we use, any athletic trainer, we use a rectal thermometer because that's the best way to figure out your internal core temperature. If you're a parent and don't know that, and you see me doing that, you're like, hey, what's up with that? I need to know when your child's back under a safe level so I can then transport them to EMS. Gavin Class at Towson had heat stroke. They did cool him, but they took him out too quick. The ambulance isn't cold enough. The hospital emergency room's not cold enough, so he ended up getting a liver transplant. Fortunately, he lived and wanted to play football again. I don't know if he ever actually did. They sued the school and got the permission too. But
yeah, they went to the Supreme Court.
So I think I'd be done at that point. But anyway.
Jen,
yeah.
So real quick before the next speaker comes on, can you? Because I know we didn't really talk actual heat stroke. Can you just give everybody kind of like a 5-minute heat exhaustion, heat stroke, the difference?
Yeah.
And where it starts. What's the very first sign?
Yeah. So heat stroke doesn't always go in a logical order. Heat cramps, heat exhaustion, heat stroke. It can be quicker than that, but there are usually some signs and symptoms. Might be disorientation, might be excessive fatigue, lack of coordination, they're stumbling, they're slurring their words, they seem disoriented. You also have to be aware some of those symptoms mimic a concussion. So did they have a hit? Was there contact? Was there, anything that, you have to decide which you're going with. But if you're talking to them and they seem to be deteriorating, those sorts of things, that's what you're looking for. Initially, before it gets bad, cool them. Get them in some shade. Get ice on them. Ice water is better because it cools quicker. It's chillier. Get them cooled down. If they're not responding, now you're escalating quick. And as a lay person, you don't want to wait 10, 20 minutes to make that decision. If you're not sure, call. If you're not sure, call. So it's always better to err on the side of caution.
Can you address the pickle juice theory?
Yeah.
Please.
So pickle juice does have some electrolytes in it. And if that is something a kid needs, which is kind of arguable, if your child needs electrolytes a lot, you probably need to take them to their pediatrician and figure out why they're needing so many electrolytes. But it's more of a delivery. Gatorade. Gatorade is not really essential to start and stop athletics. It's good for marathons and long runners. But if it gets the kid to drink, then we're all for it. So it's more of a palatable thing. If they don't like water, they're not going to drink water, and they're going to drink Gatorade, then as long as the kid's not chubby and doesn't need to worry about the sugar, then have at it. But it's not really the calories may be helping them, especially on a long day. You know how soccer and lacrosse, sometimes they'll play 3-4 games in a day. The calories may be helping them, the electrolytes may be helping them in that situation. I tell my kids that don't have any risk of high blood pressure, a little extra salt on your food, eat a bag of chips. I'd hazard to guess a lot of programs have chips and pretzels and stuff in the locker room at halftime, just because that salt is. But yeah, the pickle juice is no. The other thing is the kids think that if they drink pickle juice or eat mustard, they are instantly better. Nothing goes through your digestive tract that quick.
You find more of that on sidelines than you do anything else.
Yeah, because they see somebody on TV, and yeah, kids are very impressionable, you know, that kind of thing. Marty can always access Wes and I. If you guys have questions, I am more, this is my passion. I wanted to be with kids, high school kids. I never wanted to be collegiate. I never wanted to be pro. So yeah, and I'm getting close to retire, so I have more time to come talk to your organizations. But yeah, it's just fluff. It's hype. Yeah.
Thanks, Jen. Echo what Jen said too. Like, don't be afraid to cool.
I got one question.
Sure.
I think I heard you say that everybody except California, you have to be licensed.
Yeah.
I know they radical out there, but why are they allowed?
Right now.
Yeah, so they're working on it. Generally, what happened in DC, athletic training licensure got wrapped into an omnibus bill, which is a bunch of stuff together so that the legislature can get a bunch of things done at one time. So what often happens out in California is it's wrapped up in stuff, and the argument isn't the athletic training part of it, it's something else in the bill. So that's why it is. But athletic training has gone from registration or certification in the states to full-blown licensure. I am not licensed in the state of Maryland, so if something happens, that's all Wes. I'll help, I'll do what he tells me to do, but I'm not the first responder. I'll just be there for backup. I am licensed in DC. We have different sets of things we can do. Some states allow dry needling, some states allow, I remember when I had ACL surgery back in the 90s, the athletic trainer couldn't turn on the modalities, the electric modalities. They can now, but she'd walk off to get the PT and I just reach over and turn it on. But yeah, that's all licensed. You want to know that that person, we're held to standard. But yeah, California, they're working on it. The NATA and California, they spend tons of money trying to get that taken care of.
Thanks, Jen. Appreciate you.